Alright, hello! Welcome everybody, welcome back to Indiethon. We're just about ready here for our second run of the day. Second run of the event as well. Some triangle, circle, square by DigitalDuck. Perhaps the most interesting name for a video game I've seen. But before we get into that, I do have some donations to read out that we've received. First of all, $10 here. Courtesy of the DM Panda. $10 with a comment saying, I wish I could be there to help with this amazing event. Here's to another great marathon and a great cause. Much love to you all. And we love you too, Panda. Don't forget that. That $10 is going to the Garfield mod incentive. And we have here for the Stray run that is up next after this. So if you want to see the Garfield mod for Stray, which swaps out the regular cat with Garfield. We're currently sitting on $15 for that. And we need 50 by the time this upcoming run ends. So if you want to see Garfield, get your donations in. Which our very own Nick has also donated $5 towards that same Garfield mod, with the comment saying "hype time," and it is hype time indeed. So, with all that said, DigitalDuck, take it away with symbols.
Hello, yes. So this is triangle, circle, square, or TCQ as it's sometimes known. As always, we're just going to get straight into it. So we're going to start on 3, 2, 1. Go. So this is a ZX Spectrum game that was actually released about 2 months ago. I think it was sometime in July this year. You play as 3 different characters. One of them is a circle, one of them is a triangle, one of them is a square, as you might have guessed from the title. But each of these have 3 different abilities. So the square collapses this ground by standing on it. The circle has the ability to jump, which we'll need to get above here. And the triangle can shoot. And we navigate our way through a bunch of levels basically inspired by the artworks of Ondrian. And essentially collect these small icons. You can see the small triangle in the corner. This will allow us to turn into a triangle. And this is what gives us our triangle abilities. So this is essentially all we do. I've just explained the full game to you, so now we just enjoy the music. There's really there's nothing in the way of tech for this game. There are a few parts where we do have to do some specific things. Not necessarily skipping things, but just trying to be a bit efficient about them. So there we can get an extra jump in above the circle. We jump immediately. Other than that, we're just grooving along as quickly as possible. One thing I will talk about is the way this game uses colour. So this is a game for the ZX Spectrum, which was a computer released 40 years ago in 1982. And it had a particular characteristic in that, although the screen's resolution was 256 by 192, the colour resolution was only 32 by 24. So every 8 by 8 block of pixels could only have 2 distinct colours. And this resulted in what's commonly known as colour clash or attribute clash. This game basically takes that and makes it a feature by making the whole art style based around this colour clash. So we need to wait there just for these squares to move apart at just the right timing so we can get through here. And I missed the jump. It's fine. So this isn't going to be a world record because Even though this game's only been out like a couple of months, I kind of grinded it as soon as it came out because I was bored and didn't have access to the internet. Or not like streaming access to the internet. And so I just grinded out basically a perfect run. We're not going to see that today. What we will see though is in the even numbered stages, we have auto-scrollers with possibly DMCA able music. So we'll just pretend that this music is not by 2 Unlimited. Now, if anyone asks, this is a completely legally distinct song. This is definitely not stolen. As we can see, the background of this level is basically directly taken from Mondrian painting. We just need to get past all of these. So again, we become the triangle, we can start shooting things. I will try and shoot these as they come down, because it gives me a bit more wiggle room. And so shoot that circle, collect the square. If we collect the square before we shoot the circle, we basically die, because we can't get past the circle as the square. Because the square can't jump, the square can't shoot, all the square can do is break platforms. But once again, this is just a case of solving problems by making sure you're the right character for the job. So we reach the end, and we move on to the third level. This level is the biggest one in terms of time. We actually have some keys to collect. So we have to go through the same ground a few times. So the first thing we need to do is we need to become a square, so we can break this ground. Collect our first key down here. Then we need to become a circle so we can get over this ridge. Wait for the square to go past, go behind him. Drop down, become a square. We don't actually need to become a square there. We can go back and be a circle for this bit, but since there's an option to turn us into a circle anyway, we just accept it. We don't need to jump. Become a triangle to get through this room, because we're going to need to shoot some things. Not in this room, but in the next room, because there's squares blocking our path. We do that, we grab our first key. That weird symbol there doesn't look, I know it doesn't look very much like a key, but it's a key, trust me. And with that key, we can now come up here. Back the way we came. We don't want to become a square, we want to stay a circle. Get up out of this and head to the right. And so again, we're back in the starting room, and this time we're going to the right. This box here, you can now open. That's a locked door. And because we've now unlocked that door, we can now become a triangle. We become a triangle, and we immediately go right again. We shoot this triangle, we can come down this way. So I think this level actually counts as a Metroidvania. Don't get angry, it's a running gag. There's our second key. And all we need to do now is go to our second box to open it. To do that, we're going to actually go down this way and go back through exactly the same route we've just been, because it's, I can't remember if it's actually impossible to go the other way or if it's just faster. that was okay. Yeah, so it turns out you can die in this game, and touching other shapes is what kills you. Also, getting shot kills you, landing in spikes kills you. You know, it's a typical classic Spectrum game where everything kills you. So yeah, that's my first death of the run. The game, you do have infinite lives in this game, because it's not a classic Spectrum game in that regard. But oh yeah, you can't get back up to that triangle. That's right. But it does keep track of how many deaths you have, and it will tell you at the end of the game. In my world record run, I do have a 0 death run, which I'm quite pleased with. But this is not that run. There we go. Out of the 3rd level into the 4th.
Is it okay if I jump in here with a quick donation?
Sure.
Because we have a $10 donation from Anonymous without a comment, but that $10 is going to the Garfield mod. Which, if I check... give me just a second. Yeah, thanks to that donation, as well as a $15 donation from Code Gorilla. Also without a comment, but throwing those $15 over to the Garfield mod, we're now sitting at $40 out of 50. Just $10 away from getting the Garfield mod for Stray, which is the next run. So thank you both for these wonderful donations going towards Caldwell Children, and Duck, back over to you.
Okay, so luckily we've just been watching this auto-scroller, and it's towards the end. We're actually in the final level, and time is about to come. So time is when we get all 3 shapes into their correct positions, which comes here when we have to destroy the square and the triangle using the triangle. And I messed up there. We have to take a death on this level of all things. So we shoot the square, we shoot the triangle, and we become the square, so we can become the circle and fill the final gap. And it'll be time in 3, 2, 1, time. And as you can see, number of deaths 3, which is not the best I've ever done, but it's certainly acceptable for a marathon run. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you liked this game, you can find this and many other Spectrum games discussed on Speedrun Spec Running, which you can find on the speedrun.com page for this game, or on the link in my channel, which is twitch.tv/DigitalDuck.
Alright, thank you Duck Squared for showing off this interesting game with an interesting name. And before we sign off, I want to read out another donation here from, if I'm reading this name right, Impia, with another $10 going to Garfield mod, which means that we have met the incentive. We're going to be seeing Garfield for Stray. And that is also the exact run that we're going to be setting up right now, coming up after this. Brought to you by HUDs. But first, you will also have Light Matter by Osmorn, which is the actual next run. So apologies for the misinforming, but thank you nonetheless for all the wonderful donations for Caldwell Children, again, and meeting the incentive. So you're still awesome. And yeah, we'll see you back in the very near future for some Light Matter by Osmorn. Stay tuned.